Hey everyone, welcome back to another Haolonggood review. Today we're taking a look at which is probably my most anticipated figure of the year, their 135 scale Apatosaurus. Yes, I've made it known a few times on this channel that Apatosaurus is my favorite dinosaur species of all time. Actually, I just absolutely love sauropods, as you could say, hashtag I'm slutty for sauropods. So when they announced this figure, I was over the moon that we're finally getting a large, scientifically accurate Apatosaurus figure, and I ended up getting both versions. I wanted to save some money, so I got them out of the box. As you can see, this is how it was shipped to me with just the foam insert. I did get both versions, so getting it out of the box, it only cost me $70 each for the figures, which is a hell of a deal because these figures are huge, they're massive, they're heavy, and they're 100% worth the $70. They actually probably should cost about $100, but Haolonggood has been pretty much the best value on the market with dinosaur figures lately. And if you want to order one of these for your own, I'll leave a link to the AliExpress store I ordered them from down below in the description. Now, since I ordered these out of the box, each one came with these little plants inside it. The yellow one came with the gray version. The one with the red berries came with the brown version. I don't know if this was thrown in because I ordered them without the box. If anyone ordered them with the box and it came with these, just let me know in the comments. So I'm just kind of curious if these just come stand with the figures or was just thrown in because I didn't order the box. But anyways, we don't have to talk about packaging. Let's throw these things up on the turntable and take a closer look. And here are both these magnificent beasts out of the package, and I'm absolutely blown away by both of them. They're just such huge, large, heavy figures. Like, I'm just absolutely over the moon. I'm almost speechless when I took these out of the package. They're absolutely beautiful. Haolonggood has certainly made a splash on the market with their dinosaur figures. They were doing some stuff with GR Toys a couple years ago, but man, they are absolutely going full force now that they're on their own. They've released a lot of great species. I think pretty much everything in this new batch of figures have been herbivores. It's a complete contrast of what P&S has been doing. It's just been theropod after theropod. I'm not complaining. We're getting a lot of cool species from both companies. Man, my camera hates it when the heads go by. But yeah, these figures are absolutely stunning. And I love how they always do two color schemes. The gray one is really nice and natural looking, but my personal favorite is the brown one. I just like that more vivid stripe color pattern. It just really highlights the figure in my eyes, and these things just look absolutely great. They're just sculpted in a nice, beautiful walking pose. Big, thick, powerful necks, long whip-like tails. These things are the complete deal, and these are going to be the centerpieces in a lot of people's collections. They are definitely going to be a centerpiece in mine. I've been waiting for an Apatosaurus figure like this forever, and you just can't beat that $70. You get a lot of figure for that price, and I'm just like really blown away that Haolonggood can give this great value on these figures that they've been doing. Like, a lot of them cost around $20, and they're like half the price of what you pay from P&S. So yeah, Haolonggood is absolutely killing it right now. And now time for some measurements. These figures, if you measure them along the curve of the tail, are a whopping 24 inches long, or 61 centimeters, and about 5 inches tall to the top of the hips, or 12.7 centimeters. So Apatosaurus in real life was between 69 and 75 feet long, or 21 to 23 meters. So I put these figures perfectly in that 135 to 137 scale range. And one other thing I want to talk about, these figures are really heavy. They are solid plastic, no hollow material used. I actually weighed them. They weigh 2.25 pounds, or just over 1,000 grams. I still can't believe how much figure you're getting for $70. In hindsight, it makes it look like some other companies are really overpriced for what they're charging, especially what you are getting for the price and size of this figure. And now let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on the figure. We're starting with the brown version, which is my favorite of the two. Let's take a look at that nice, accurate looking Apatosaurus head. You can see the eye is sculpted yellow with a black pupil. Nostrils are sculpted down here. The nasal openings are actually up here, but the current hypothesis is that the nostrils were further down on the snout. See the mouth nicely sculpted, all nice, finely proportionate scale detail all over the neck and head, actually all over the whole body. We do have a little bit of a dewlap underneath there with some spikes coming out of it. And then viewing it from the top, we have a very thick girthy.
That's what she said. Or he said.
Neck. Let's get the camera to focus in on that better. My camera sometimes does not like focusing on these figures. And since we have the head right here, let's zoom in on that. The snout should just be a little bit more squared off. It's a little bit too rounded for what we know from Apatosaurus skulls, but really not a big deal. And then going down to the neck, we have all these little spikes popping out on the base, like the thickest part of the neck, and that looks really, really nicely done. It's thought that, Apatosaurus has these big, thick, powerful necks that they'll use for combat against each other. So it's nice to see like these little bony protrusion that were probably used for that. Then you have all this nice banding, dark brown banding mixed in with this really light brown coloration going all the way down the neck, all the way down the body. You even have a little row of spikes that goes all the way down to about the halfway point of the tail, getting down to the big hefty body. This figure is really heavy to hold. It's so big I have it like kind of outstretched past the camera, and it's making my hands really, really tired already. Going down to the legs, you can see some nice scale detail, more of that dark band, and just love that molted pattern all over the figure. Feet are nicely sculpted. Let's check the underside. We have that nice half moon shape of the feet, and we do have the thumb claws poking out on the side. The rest of the claws were encased inside the skin, and then going down to the body, some nice lovely folds and wrinkles. There's a little bit of white dry brushing on the side to bring out all that detail. Even the underside of the stomach has all this wonderful, wonderful scale detail. Let's take a look at the bottom of the hind feet. Same thing, nice scale detail on the hind feet. Going down to those very powerful back legs, you get some large osteoderms peppered here and there all over the figure. Nice bulging calf muscles. Those 3 toe claws are painted in, which is accurate. Let's turn the figure to the other side. Just love the nice walking pose that this is sculpted. Just love the dynamic of the head swinging to the side and the tail all nice and curled. And let's turn it over and do our dinosaur butthole check. There is kind of a cloaca slit right here. It's just before the seam of the tail. But come on, this is a Apatosaurus. This thing should have a giant ass butthole. And then going down to the tail, some more of that nice striping. As you get to near the end, it turns into this nice white pattern and this nice whipple-like tail. So yeah, absolutely stunning figure. I am absolutely blown away by it. Just Haolonggood did such an amazing job on my favorite dinosaur species of all time. And now let's take a look at the gray version. This one is much more natural. Apatosaurus is a very large animal. Probably didn't really have intricate color scheme, kind of like the brown version that we just looked at. So it's nice that they give us 2 different versions to pick from. I think a lot of people will like this gray version. It's very natural looking and kind of looks like a classic sauropod. So let's zoom in and just take a look at some of the color differences. The eye is also painted yellow with a black pupil. You do have a little bit of dry brushing of brown on top of the head. And then for the underside, we do have this pinkish cream coat for the underside of the neck and the underside of the body. You can see all those spikes popping out. They do have a little bit of a dry brush on them to make them a little bit more pronounced. And then going down to the body, same thing, with that nice peach cream coloration. There's a little bit of a wash over here, and it kind of looks like some caked on dirt between all the scales, which is a really, really nice touch. And then going down to the legs, you get all that nice gray mixing in. And then going down to the hind legs, same thing, all that nice, beautiful, bland gray. But you know what, like I said, it works on a large species of dinosaur like this. And here's a view of it from the top. Nice, very big, bulky, thick animal. Even the base of the tail is massively thick. And then going all the way down to the tail. I like how the end of the tail is just colored a little bit of bright orange. It's thought, back in the day that the tails were used like a whip-like, weapon that you use, almost sound like a bullwhip cracking. But recent studies show that that would cause a lot of stress on the muscles and the bones. So it's most likely used as a sensory organ while they're migrating. The tails just touching each other from the side, just to let everyone know that they're all nice and close together. So yeah, absolutely love both of them. I'm so glad I decided to go with both. They look nice as a mated pair. And first up for comparisons, here is Collecte's 1/40 scale human figure to show you how massive Apatosaurus was in real life. Let's do a couple PNSO sauropods. Here it is with their Lingwulong, which is just a little bit smaller than the Apatosaurus. It only costs a few dollars less. One time PNSO didn't jam us up the butt with their prices. And here's one more PNSO sauropod. Here it is with their Mamenchisaurus, which only costs $10 less than the Apatosaurus. Like I said, I'll be comparing a lot about PNSO's pricing versus Haolonggood's. Haolonggood's just such a better value, I think, in my eyes. They have better paint schemes. I love PNSO. They do a lot of nice scientifically accurate figures. I just feel like their prices are just really, really inflated. And next up, here it is with the old Carnegie collection, Diplodocus. I actually like how these two scale next to each other. This figure's been long out of production and commands a pretty high price. Still love this figure though. It's just nice, back in the day when there was large sauropod figures readily available. And here is Eofauna's take. And Eofauna is around that 135, 140 scale, but I just feel like it's just a little bit small, the scale next to the Apatosaurus. I much like how the Carnegie collection one looks better next to it. And let's do a bunch of Apatosaurus / Brontosaurus comparisons. Here it is with Namu's version, which is a bigger figure, but this is actually constructed out of hollow material, and it actually costs a little bit more than the Haolonggood version. So that's why I really, really like this new one, because it's just solid plastic. I was actually surprised when I got this one in. I did not expect it to be hollow for the price I paid for it. So yeah, definitely happy with this new scientifically accurate one. That one was based off Jurassic World. And next up here is Papo's Apatosaurus, which is another figure I really liked when it first came out. It was listed as a juvenile. They never ever did an adult one. And next up, let's get that one off to the side. This one has been a personal favorite of mine for a long time. This is Safari's limited Apatosaurus, and I think when it came out, I think I paid like $10-12 for this figure, and it was just such a great figure at the time. Just always wish it was bigger. Hopefully they'll do some large sauropods sometime in the near future. And lastly, here is Collectay's Brontosaurus. I really hope one day they actually do a deluxe version that is around that 140 scale range, but maybe time will tell, because I was very excited they actually did a legit Brontosaurus figure. Let's take out some of Haolonggood's recent releases. Here's their Pentaceratops, Pseudoceratops, Ouranosaurus, and Tianzenosaurus. So they have had a really nice run of doing unique species that a lot of us have been wanting for our collections. Yeah, the Pseudoceratops been done a couple of times, but Ouranosaurus and a nice Pentaceratops were much needed. They have a Pachyrhinosaurus coming and a Huerosaurus. So really excited what they're doing. They've all been herbivores, which I think is kind of mind-boggling. PNSO, on the other hand, is just doing all theropod after theropod, which I did order the Lithronax and the Daspletosaurus. I will not be picking up Cameron. They can go stuff it with that $75 price tag. I have plenty of the T-Rex figures. But yeah, Haolonggood has been absolutely killing it with the quality and price of their figures. And I'd love to see if they have any theropods planned for the future. I'd love to see feathered raptors. Sky's the limit. And of course, more large sauropods from them, because if they have the balls to do this, they will definitely do more. And lastly, here is a nice Morrison formation group shot. We have Safari's Brachiosaurus. Here's the Apatosaurus, Eofauna's Diplodocus, PNSO's Torvosaurus, Safari, Camarasaurus, and Allosaurus, Dinozoo Catidocus, and PNSO's Stegosaurus. Still missing some species for the Morrison formation, especially Camptosaurus. Why can't we just have a good Camptosaurus figure? It's been annoying me for years. I think Haolonggood would be perfect for that. With their two versions that they do of every figure. I definitely would buy multiples and have a small herd of them. Even a multi-pack of Dryosaurus, Gargoylosaurus. There's a bunch of species from the Morrison formation that still need to be made, but Camptosaurus is definitely a top priority. So final thoughts on these Apatosaurs. They're a dream come true, especially for me. My favorite species of dinosaur in a large, high quality, accurate figure form, and they're just absolutely amazing. I'm glad that Haolonggood is very affordable, so I was able to get both versions of these because they look absolutely great on the shelf as a mated pair. And my top pick is definitely the brown version right here, but you really can't go wrong with either one. They're both just such high quality figures, and you will not be disappointed to pick one of these up. And like I said, the beginning review, the link is down below to the AliExpress store that I got these from. You'll save some money if you order them out of the box. They're around $70. In box, it's $85. So you're paying $15 for it to come in the same size package, just missing the cardboard box. So it's pretty much a no-brainer to go with the no box version. So that will do it for the review. Like I said earlier, I have the new PNSO figures coming in, more Haolonggood figures coming in. I got a bunch of Mattel stuff I need to catch up on. So a lot of reviews will be coming up on the channel relatively soon. So stay tuned for all that. Man, I can't talk today. These Apatosaurus had me all flustered. So as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. I'll see you guys for the next one.